Hello, if you clicked here, you want to know what is the best solar cooker. I can't say what's best for you, but I can tell you the strengths and weaknesses of the best solar cookers available today in June 2019. I'm Roger Haines, and for the past 5 years, I've been promoting solar cooking. I've designed, built, and tested all types of solar cookers, and I founded my own company, Haines Solar Cookers. Over 1,200 Haines Solar Cookers have been distributed in developing countries with generous financial help from my San Diego Rotary Club and from Solar Household Energy, a distinguished Washington, D.C. based nonprofit organization. I am now a board member of Solar Household Energy, which continues to be a leader in managing solar cooker projects. I'm also a strong supporter of Solar Cookers International, which has a Wikia website with over 3,000 solar cooker designs. There are 4 types of solar cookers. First, parabolic or dish cookers like this one. This is called the Sun Chef. It's an excellent solar cooker. Another fine parabolic cooker is the Sol Source. It's SOLSOURCE. Parabolic cookers have a tight focal point, and they come to a very high temperature focal point right here under the pan. All the heat is concentrated right there. So they can cook very quickly. The experience is much like cooking on a gas stove. It's hot and the food does cook very quickly. So you can make a delicious stir fry or a medium rare T-bone steak. So if you want fast cooking, buy a parabolic like this. Do parabolics have weaknesses? All solar cookers have weaknesses. In the case of a parabolic, they're like a gas stove, so they can set wood on fire. You put wood right down here, it'll start a fire. So if you put your hand in the focal point, it will burn your hand as well. Regulating the temperature can also be tricky. So you have to basically move the cooker like this so that the focal point moves to the side of the pan and the pan gets less hot then. Parabolics are also bulky, so you need time to assemble and disassemble them. And you need a large place to store them. So if you're camping, you probably need to have a large RV to take with you. Cost is another consideration. Parabolic cookers sell in the range of $200 to $500, depending on the size and the quality. Smaller ones are cheaper, but they don't get as hot and may not be as strong. As with anything, you get what you pay for. The second kind of solar cooker is the vacuum tube cooker, like this very well-made GoSun solar cooker. This is a marvel of modern science. The food goes on a semicircular tray that's inserted into the tube. So it's right here. The food goes on this tray, and you insert it into the vacuum tube like this. The sunlight is then reflected onto the tube by the reflector, and the vacuum prevents the heat from escaping. This cooker cooks quite fast as a parabolic cooker. It's especially good for cooking meat and vegetables. These are also quite portable, especially the smaller models. Are there any weaknesses? Well, yes. First, as I pointed out, you have to cut the food to fit in the tray. So you're not going to cook a turkey in this one. Secondly, because the tray is horizontal, most models will not boil water. The company does make a vertical add-on that will allow you to boil water, but it's an add-on and you'll pay extra for that. The tube, another weakness is that the tube is glass, so it's breakable. If you drop it, it'll break. It's also subject to thermal shock. It gets very hot, so that if it's subjected to a sudden change in temperature, it could also break. The cost, $150 to $500 depending on the model, and be especially wary of cheap foreign knockoffs of this GoSun cooker. The third kind of solar cooker is the box oven, like this excellent Sun oven. Another fine box oven is the Solavore, that's S-O-L-A-V-O-R-E. Box ovens behave just like conventional ovens, but the fuel is free. They're insulated, so they'll work even in cold weather, and even when there's snow on the ground. Really. Roasted chicken, so juicy it falls off the bones, or baked potatoes, or homemade bread, or birthday cakes, or apple pie. The list goes on. This is why people love their box cookers. Does it have any weaknesses? Well, it needs to be preheated, and the insulation needs to heat up before you can before your food begins to cook. So set it in the sun for an hour or so before you begin to cook with the box oven. You may have to tilt this oven to follow the sun. As you'll notice, this sun oven has reflectors on it to reflect the sun into the box. And that means that it needs to follow the sun. So you'll have to turn the cooker at various times during the day. And if the sun is low or high, you're going to have to tilt the box up and down like this. The sun oven comes with a leg in the back, so you can easily do that. But you do have to tilt it. And that means that you should have a swinging tray on the inside so that you don't spill your food. This one has a swinging tray inside. Also, box ovens are bulky and heavy. They don't fold up. They're just what they are, except for these reflectors will fold up. But for camping, it's probably best to take a truck and don't even think about backpacking. The cost? They can be expensive, ranging from $200 to $500. Again, you get what you pay for. The fourth kind of solar cooker is the panel solar cooker. The most famous is this cardboard cookit right here. Hundreds of thousands of these cardboard cookits have been distributed in refugee camps in 25 years. Panel cookers are essentially fair weather box ovens. They won't work in cold weather, but in good weather, they cook just like a box oven. You can roast chicken, you can bake potatoes, make bread, cakes, you can simmer beans, boil water for spaghetti, and even make delicious cheese souffle. They're inexpensive, light, and portable. All of them fold up, so they're best for camping, boating, and emergencies. In choosing a panel cooker, first consider the reflector. The cookit reflector is cardboard and foil, so it's not waterproof. The foil separates if you spill water on it, and the cardboard can turn to mush. Leave it on in the rain and you don't have a cooker any longer. So manufacturers of panel cookers have come up with other solutions. Like this fine all-season solar cooker right here is made with plastic cardboard called flute board. It's basically plastic that looks like cardboard, but it's plastic, so it withstands water very well. And it's bonded to fine reflective material. I recommend this all-seasons panel cooker. A second solution is the Copenhagen cooker over here. This uses vinyl sheets bonded to reflective material. And the unique thing about the Copenhagen is it's just four petals, four pieces, attached together with clips like this. And you change the clips depending on the sun so that the sunlight is reflected from the panels onto the pot in the middle of the cooker. Very clever design. I also recommend, this cooker works well and I recommend it. It's called the Copenhagen. Another solution is the hot pot. Over here, this is polished aluminum. The trouble with the hot pot was that polished aluminum is expensive, and so it has been discontinued in favor of, wait for it, the Haines solar cooker, which we'll get to in a moment. The Haines reflector is made from the same material as expensive car windshield sunshades that last 10 years in cars. It is mylar, a layer of mylar, which is space-age material, as you know, bonded to 3/16 inch of polyester foam with a strong backing that is fully recyclable. The second consideration in choosing a panel cooker is the so-called greenhouse that insulates the pot from the surrounding air. The cookit uses the special plastic oven bags, like you've seen them in the stores for cooking a Thanksgiving turkey. The trouble with these bags is that they're not durable and they have to be replaced quite often. They're also very inconvenient to use and bad for the environment. An alternative is to use glass around the cooking pot, And the classic example of that is the Cook It, which came with its own glass lid, mixing bowl pan, and a glass mixing bowl below it. Those three parts together were quite expensive, however, and the glass is breakable and heavy and difficult to ship. And as a result, the glass enclosure was part of the reason why the hot pot was discontinued in favor of the Haines cooking sleeve. And let's go back to the Haines cooker now, and you can see what that looks like. The Haines cooking sleeve replaces the plastic bag to insulate the pot from the surrounding air. It's just a cylinder of polycarbonate plastic, and it looks like this, and it goes here inside the reflector, and the pot rests on top of it and inside of it. So it actually elevates and insulates the pot. Now the sun can be bounced off the bottom of the reflector onto the bottom of the cooking pot, as well as the sides and the top of the pot. It also keeps the lid accessible during cooking, so now I can take the lid off and stir things without losing all the heat, because the heat is retained by the cooking sleeve that surrounds the pot. The Haines cooker also has a second layer of insulation, this circular cover that goes over everything. So, let's talk about the third consideration, the pot itself. The pot must be black on the outside with a black lid or a glass lid. That's because sunlight is absorbed by black. Heat is absorbed by black. If the lid is metal, however, you can't see the food without lifting the lid, so you don't know what's going on in the cooking process. And if you lift the lid, you lose heat. So I strongly recommend glass lids, which are also very good insulators. For years, I have looked for a good pot and lid for solar cooking without success. So now I offer one on my website, a 4.5 quart stainless steel Dutch oven with a glass lid, which you've already seen. It is right here. Here's the lid. Here's the Dutch oven, 4.5 quarts. You can cook a whole chicken in here or cook a gallon of stew. Finally, let's consider performance. How fast does the panel cooker heat up? The All Seasons and Copenhagen cookers perform very well, and I recommend them. For me, however, the best test of performance is to put two solar cookers side by side on the same day. In my side-by-side testing, the Haines 2 solar cooker heats a quarter of water to boiling in about 49 minutes. The Haines 1, which costs less, takes about 62 minutes. They are faster than any other panel or box cooker that I'm aware of. The bottom line for you, if you want to cook fast, buy a parabolic or vacuum tube solar cooker. If you want an oven that will bake food year-round, buy a box oven. If you want an inexpensive portable cooker to use in warm weather, buy a panel solar cooker. There are several good panel solar cookers, including mine. In sum, I want you to know that solar cookers work. They are convenient and fun to use. The food is healthy and delicious. You can reduce your fuel bills and save the planet. What's not to like?